Tegernsee Spezial.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. It is hotter than Gandhi's flip-flop out there, and I really am suffering. And to console myself, I have got a bottle of one of Bavaria's finest beers, and that is the Tegernsee Spezial. Now this is from a brewery that is based in a monastery at the foothills of the Alps in Bavaria, and its lineage goes back to 1050, but it's not the oldest brewery in the world. In fact, even though it can be traced back to 1050, the actual brewery can't be traced back until at least 1675, so it's not the oldest brewer in the world, but it is still one of the oldest brewers in Bavaria. You know, they have been brewing for quite a long time. Now this beer is from a range of beers that they do. I've tried the Dunkel and that was absolutely amazing stuff, but there is a lot of confusion around this beer. Some people have called this a Helles, some people have called it a Dortmunder export. I don't think it's the Helles, because they have in their range, they have a Helles beer. So take it that this is the Dortmunder export style of beer. Now, if you're wondering what a Dortmunder export beer is, you're in good company, because even the top beer experts really can't determine what is distinguishable from a Helles and a Dortmunder export. To be honest, from my own experience, Dortmunder exports share a hell of a lot of characteristics with Helles, but I do find that they have got more in common with German Pilsners than they have with Helles. They've got a slightly bitter finish. They're not as sweet as the Helles beers, certainly the ones from Bavaria. So if this brewery are calling this a Dortmunder export, it must be their take on a Pilsner. Now, I don't know what it is, but these last few days, especially in this weather, I've been drinking lots of German Pilsner. And it does range. The lines are so blurred between the Helles and the Pilsner. Usually I find that the Bavarian Helles is slightly sweeter. It's got sweeter malts in it. But again, the lines are really blurred. They're both pale lagers. They both taste of the, you know, the Hallertau and noble hops. Certainly the Bavarian ones do. The North German ones I find are drier, but the Southern German ones are a little dry as well, so it's just a completely, like, shades of grey. It really is. One thing I will say, this brewery, the Dunkel that I tried, watched my review of the Dunkel, that was amazing stuff. So that was on the strength of that was why I bought this. So I'm just going to shut up now. Final word on this brewery, the official title of the brewery, and I'm going to try and pronounce this. I've got it on here. It's the Herzoglich Bayerisches Brauhaus Tegernsee, which basically translates to Ducal Bavarian Brewery Tegernsee. Now, Tegernsee is a lake that's running through Bavaria at the moment, and the brewery is not too far at the foothills of the Alps. So there you go. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get on to the beer. Right, it is a 500ml bottle. It is the Builder's half litre. It conforms to the Reinheitsgebot. It is 5.6%, and everything else is in German. And yeah, it's just got the ingredients: Wasser, Gersten malt, and Hopfen. Obviously, there's yeast in there too. So let's get it open and let's see what's going on. Right, there is the cap. There you go. One for the collection. I'm running out of space for all my beer caps. Right, let's get it into the glass. Now, as I say, this is a Dortmunder Union style beer. That's what it's been billed as. But to be honest, that looks like that could be anything. It could be a Helles, it could be a Pils, it could even just be a normal run-of-the-mill Pilsner. And to be honest, it does smell like a Pilsner. There's quite a bit of hop aroma coming from that. And again, it's them Hallertauer earthy, herbal and spicy notes that are coming from that. It's very clean tasting. That is one thing I will say for all this Bavarian beer. It does smell very clean. I don't know what it is with the water, but it's just got like an earthy cleanliness to it, which is really nice. Yeah, really good. And there's a lively carbonation in there, so that's going to promote that aroma even more. Right, let's get everything into the glass. Lovely, very clear, lots of carbonation. Looks amazing. Let's get it down the hatch. Zum Wohl, as they say in Germany. That is super refreshing. I will say that is the first thing that strikes me on this beer. That is really good. Let me have another go. I'm just going to dive in again. Yeah. And it's a cross between the two. I'm getting Pilsner notes and I'm getting Helles notes as well. There's a lot of hop, herbal, earth and spicy notes on there. There is a lovely lemon citrus, and I'm wondering whether that lemon citrus is a mix of the herbal and the malt flavours that are on this, because there is some sweet malt on there too. And it's perfectly balanced, although it's not balanced initially. So in the mouth, first of all, the first thing I thought when I tasted it in the mouth, this is a Pilsner type flavour beer. But then as it went down, you think, well, hang on a minute, there's a lot more lemon citrus in there, which you don't normally find in most German Pilsners. And it's quite sweet on the finish, unlike other German, not especially North German Pilsners, where it's a lot drier. There's notes of them doughy, bready Munich malts on the finish on there. But I have to say, after a few mouthfuls, it's perfectly balanced. Initially, there was a lot of hop character in there, but now that's settled down. And to be honest, I don't care what you want to classify this as, this is a fantastic beer. That is super drinkable. No nasty aftertaste at all. It's just clean and refreshing, and it goes down absolutely superbly. Very smooth indeed. The mouthfeel is great. Now, if you looked at that and you saw that carbonation, you'd think it was going to be abrasive, but I don't know how the Germans do it, but they just do it. I remember I tried the Löwenbräu, and that had carbonation, probably more lively than that. But when it went down, it was just super smooth. And you know, some people call lagers crisp. I really wish they wouldn't do that, because it's anything but. A good lager is just smooth. Some pilsners may be bordering on crisp, but they're nowhere near as, like, I class crisp as like a lambic or anything with that lactobacillus sourness to it. That's what, or the dryness. That's what I find crisp, but you don't get it with them Bavarian beers. Rarely. The odd time you may get a real hoppy, you know, where they've over hopped it with the Hallertau. I think the Jever was probably the bitterest pilsner I've tasted, and that could be just classed as bordering on crisp, but certainly nothing before that I remember. And I've tasted a few lagers, believe me. But getting back to this, I'm loving this. This is amazing. And you know what? I am going to be spoilt because I've drank so many good German pilsners over this weekend that, you know, if I try a craft beer from a brewer over here, I'm probably going to be merciless. But you know, this is the standard you should be. If you're a craft brewer, you should be trying to attain this type of flavour. It's lovely. Lemon citrus, bready malt, hop character that has calmed down now. I think my palate's got used to it, and it's just so smooth, very refreshing. I really like that. It's not, I wouldn't say it's as bitter as the North German Pilsners. Whether that is a Dortmunder export, I don't know. To be honest, I'd class that as personally, I class that as a Helles from what I've tasted. I've tasted German beers that have called themselves Helles, and they've tasted just like that. I wouldn't class that as a Pilsner. But what I would class it as is very, 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 very tasty. I am absolutely loving this. So what's the verdict on this? Well, I tried their Dunkel and it was absolutely amazing, and whenever I see one of their beers I automatically make a beeline for it. Now I have tried their Helles once I think, but for the life of me I can't remember it. I certainly haven't reviewed it, and I need to. I've got a mate coming over in September. He is bringing me a big box of German beer. Hopefully he'll put something from this lot in there, because this is really good stuff. I absolutely love it. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 because, you know, when you're a Bavarian brewer, you really have to pull out all the stops to, you know, better the Paulaner stuff or the Augustiner stuff, or, you know, the real top lager brewers in Germany. This one is good, don't get me wrong, and yeah, even, you know, you can get this on Beers of Europe. Even if you see it on Beers of Europe, get it. But it's really good. I don't think it quite matches up to the standards of Paulaner and the other great brewers like Augustiner, even Iinga as well. I tried their Iinga Pils. I think the Iinga Pils was slightly better than that one. But this is good, you know, and it sounds like I'm knocking it, but when the standard is so high, as I keep saying, it really has to be stand out coming from Bavaria for me to give it a 10 out of 10. But there you go. And as I say, 9 out of 10. It just doesn't come up to the hot. If this come out of a craft brewery, this would be a 10 out of 10 easily. They've captured the true nature of a Helles. They've brewed it, put it into a can, labelled it as a Helles, and it has tasted like a Helles. However, this is brewed in Bavaria, and the competition is so high there. I mean, to be honest, you know, if I got this on draft in Germany, this would be like liquid gold. So I'm not knocking this brewery, they are fantastic. I just think there is some that are slightly better out there. And remember, beer is working class champagne.